So I got back into DC Universe Online because I wanted something to do while I was watching Zoe and Alice, and my tablet's currently dead, so I can't watch it, and I finished Skullduggery 2. I'll get in the review in about a minute. So I decided, screw it, I'm gonna watch the videos that I need to catch up on from my subscriptions. Well, then I can play DC. So I have the review to do, then the Twitter segment, and then worst takes, because there's been at least one video uploaded since the last time I played a game. Since the last time I watched the videos, since the last time I made a worst takes video. So, yeah. Also, I got a negative test today, so I need to get a negative tomorrow, and then I go to school tomorrow. Anyway, so Skullduggery 2 is good. Not as good as the first one, but that's understandable why. People would probably criticize the book for the fact that Skullduggery and Valkyrie were split up for most of the book, but I didn't mind it. I thought it was a good step. Anyway, this is Twitter as of 27 to 6 p.m. on Sunday, the 19th of June 2023. Excuse the constant button mashing, this is an MMORPG, so... Anyway. Father's Day today, I've already given my dad a card, I haven't got him a present. Well, I got him a card, what I mean is my mum bought him a card and I signed it. Anyway. Why someone came out on reality TV? Because reality TV is for gay people. Well, see some incredible coming scenes of fictional shows such as Heartstopper. Heartstopper isn't real TV, and the reason why Heartstopper isn't real TV is because it's based off a web comic. I know that people are going to say, oh, you don't like Heartstopper because it's gay. No, I don't have a problem with that. I have a problem with the fact that it's a web comic. Like, that's not real art, is it? Like, I don't have a problem with stuff like Love, Simon, because I know that I'm pretty sure Love, Simon is based off a book, and if it is, it's based off a proper book, not a bloody web comic, you know. To me, web comics are the equivalent of fan fiction, right? It's not real art. But anyway, I'm Brooklyn Nine-Nine. I know that Rosa came out as bi on Brooklyn Nine-Nine because Stephanie Beatrice, who plays her, is also bi. I know that she came out. I just don't remember the scene of her coming out. And I mean, just how do you make, what was the word they use? Incredible. How do you make an incredible coming out scene? It's just a person coming out. It's gonna be hard to do because I can't pause the game, but I'm gonna try and look at Rose's scene. Okay, so I just looked at the scene of her coming out to the squad, and that is like, I'm glad that like she didn't make a big deal out of it, because I'm tired of people being like, someone comes out and like, oh my god, just freak out. Like, calm down. It doesn't really mean anything. This person likes to have meaningless sex with both genders. Wow, okay. Moving on. Like, there's also a scene of her coming out to her parents. I'm gonna look at that now. Okay, so I'm halfway through this scene, or halfway through the clip, and okay, her parents are homophobic, and I'm tired of like people writing homophobic parents, because most parents aren't homophobic. Like, I get that most parents would prefer a straight child, even if those parents are gay, because that would mean that they would have a biological child with their partner. Like, I get that same-sex couples do have biological children, but it's with a person that they are not in a relationship with, because same-sex pregnancies or same-sex conception just doesn't exist yet. So, and once again, not really incredible, but that was just terrible because it's typical. Oh, these people are old, therefore they're homophobic. Right. Her dad, played by Danny Trejo, who is a pretty, like, he's got to be the last the last non-homophobic person, like the least homophobic person. Like there are gay people more homophobic than him, because he is just such a peaceful guy. Just anyway. Oh, once again. Oh, it's just a phase. Yeah, I've heard that in every single show containing a gay character when they're talking to their parents, including shows that are fantastically written, like Skins. Like Emily's parents that's exactly the way that they were acting. And it's tiring. Like these are the people talking about diversity. How about diversity of writing? Anyway. Oh, they're so homophobic that they can't even possibly, think about a man and a man marrying, or a woman and a woman marrying, despite the fact that this is Rosa playing one. I don't know even what you call that board game, where it's like you get a word and then you write down that word or draw that word. And people try and guess what the word is. Oh, it's the fact it's very obvious it's a wedding. They just don't know it's a wedding because they're homophobic. That's another thing that I've heard. Oh, there's no such thing as being bisexual. You're either straight or messed up. And I've actually heard that one from my dad. No such thing as this. Either straight or gay, or straight or messed up. And that's not my opinion. Because bisexuality is a thing. And they say that there's 5 sexualities. Or 5 main sexualities. Straight, gay, bi, a, and pan. Well, because I don't recognize trans people. There's no such thing as pan, because pan is just bisexuality, including trans people, which, speaking of, when it comes to defining it that way, eventually, people will call bi people transphobic, and I'll be like, they'll come up with a new term that's similar to TERFs, like trans exclusionary bi people. And it's just, the entire LGBT community is in a civil war with each other. Like, it's crazy. Left wing, LGBT, BLM, all them, they're all at war with each other, but the other side, the right wing, there is no war. Because all that we have is that the far right are pricks. And we get thrown together with the far right because we're both right. But the thing is, we don't like the far right. We hate the far right. So please do not say that we are the same as them. We hate them. In fact, we hate them more than you do. Okay, that is different, finally, where the parent goes, yes, I accept you for who you are. I recognize you as thing, in this case, bisexual. Thank you, Mike Schur, and possibly Stephanie Bates. I'm going to assume that she had handwriting this because she is bi. But anyway, there's only a couple seconds left in this, so I'm just going to finish it. So back on topic, why did these two come out in reality TV? And look at that, I have to scroll and read the entire damn article, and they'll probably say, you've read too many articles from Metro Entertainment, with the answer being 0. You need to pay to continue reading Metro Entertainment because people just don't read magazines anymore because magazines are crap. Just that simple as that. Anyway, crap, it's reset. Or maybe it's okay. It's reset now. Well, it's about the war in Ukraine. I don't know about Ukraine itself, but apparently Ukrainian women who have fled to Sweden have been told, don't dress like a slut because Muslims will rape you. And it's the entirety of Sweden telling them this, because there are probably more Muslim people in Sweden than there are non-Muslims. And this has been proven to be linked because it is the Muslims doing it. And that's not to say all Muslims, but all the Muslims in Sweden, or a big majority of them in Sweden, are raping women. So what it is was that don't dress like a slut in Sweden because you'll turn the Muslims on and then they'll rape you. That's the opinions of people in Sweden because they've seen it firsthand every day for the past 5 years. Anyway, I used to be transphobic. This is how I became an ally. How? And why did you become an ally? An ally? As soon as they went full mask off about being pedophiles. Green Party councillor person. Sexuality is different from gender. What is incorrect about that? What is transphobic about that? Yeah, should we include trans people with LGBT? Honestly, I think the majority of LGBT people do not want trans people to be a part of the LGBT community, and that's not being transphobic. It's just that transgenderism is a gender, or I don't recognize it as gender, but most people recognize it as a gender. But lesbianism, gayism, and bisexuality are sexualities. There is a difference between gender and sexuality, because if there was no difference, then everyone would be gay, and bisexuality couldn't exist. And you just don't want that, do you? At least until you recognize bi people as all transphobic by default, because that will happen, as I said. So Stas has tweeted this out saying it's hilarious, and you've probably already seen this, the meme of people on a plane, and their names are Something Wong, We Too Low, Holy Fuck, and Bang Ding O. Don't know how Stas only just discovered that, but anyway. I'm probably not going to read this. Where do you work out? At the library. Staffers for Stephen Colbert's show on CBS were arrested. I heard about this. Charged for entry at U.S. House Representatives building on Thursday, reportedly letting illegally by a staffer for Democrat congressman in person. Not watching 8 minutes. Nothing captures what's wrong with today's journalism like the sad saga of what happened last week at the Washington Post. I don't know what happened. Yeah, I'm pretty edgy. Yeah, when you have Seth Rogen on your side, you're not really edgy anymore. Seth Rogen is the mainstream. Especially considering that he heavily works on The Boys and was going to create it, but he was busy doing Preacher, and Eric Kripke created The Boys before he got the chance, so I don't know why I'm taking a drink out of this assembly. Anyway. Russia earned what is likely Very likely a record 93 billion euros in revenue from exports of oil, gas, and coal in the first 100 days. Countries invasion Ukraine. Now, analysis shows revenue extends what Russia is spending on the war. So much for sanctions. I'm not going to look at that video. It looks like it's going to be disturbing. They don't make weeps like they used to. Burgers? Onion rings got me like. Pregnant? Is that a pregnant man? Oh yeah, I forgot they're making those. Big Gender 4. Magical gender journey or magical journey. Excitement, adventure, mystery, glamour, or be cis. Yeah, so that's the problem, and I've pointed this out before with gay people, but it seems to be that when people talk about being gay and being trans, it seems to be that they make it out to be this magical adventure where everything is, paradise basically, and being cis is just boring. Ooh, why would you ever want to be cis? But if that's correct, why do you always act so depressed? Like, you say that you have depression and all these other mental illnesses, and either you do have it, which means that being gay and trans and whatever isn't as great as you make it out to be, or you're making it up, so you're a liar. Pick one. Anyway, let me just escape from this fight. RT. Okay, Russia Today's account has been withheld in Portugal, Finland, Sweden, Ireland, Slovenia, Czech Republic, Poland, Slovakia, Hungary, Italy, Malta, Germany, Greece, Romania, Netherlands, Bulgaria, Austria, Luxembourg, Latvia, UK, Denmark, Lithuania, Croatia, Estonia, Cyprus, France, Spain, Belgium, in response to a legal demand. Average Russian life expectancy just increased. Yeah, ever since we've been banning Russia from like fast food and porn and all that, you're just making the Russians healthier. Dumbasses. I'm not worried because they're not going to invade us, but I'm just saying, if you want to punish the Russians, don't make them healthy. Like, yeah, obviously you can punish a child by forcing them to eat like Brussels sprouts, but Russia isn't a child. Anyway, RT isn't even like, I wouldn't even consider it Russian. Most of the news is in English. Anyway, stand back, crypto bros. I'm about to sweep the floor. Send tweet. While working at McDonald's. Where's your receipt? You need to touch the receipt coated with hormone disrupting bisphenol A, BPA, or I'm calling the police. How'd he die? Within 24 hours. COVID. I think I've already said this. Maybe I just saw it on Instagram. I don't know. Want to earn some yield in your crypto? Ask the devil as he licked his lips and rubbed his palms together. Post a comic or I unfollow. Post it on a sports take or I unfollow. I'm pretty sure I've already read these. Also, he literally has his schedule in his bio. It's every Tuesday and Thursday. No one told me the base area of your penis. Okay, yeah, I've definitely read these. Anyway. If you get starters, you can plant most of the pink and green. So you have loads of options. Turnips it is. You're an asshole. Why are you angry about turnips? I love this fake feud that they have going on. It's better than when Ryan Reynolds and his wife prank each other on Twitter. I mean, one of those man situations where I have absolutely no idea what I did wrong. WHO says to work on a new name for the monkeypox. Daniel. What's wrong with calling it monkeypox? Unless... No, never mind. I can't even explain what I was about to say. Police officer jailed over a racist. What's that means? Mocking George Floyd's death. Oh, that's just great. Yeah, it's... Okay, I'm not going to say it's disrespectful because I make fun of George Floyd all the time, but... One, his death was now over 2 years ago. Like, his death was around the time of Last of Us 2. I'm over Last of Us 2. I still hate the bloody hell out of it, but I just don't... I haven't thought about it. Okay, before they announced Last of Us Part 1, which I'll get to them, the reason, it was very stupid of them calling it Part 1 later, not today. But before they announced that, I hadn't thought of that game in like months. Ever since that time that I realised that I was wrong about Ellie being lesbian. Anyway, person serving under wet location police when he shared the grossly offensive material in the group chat, which included former colleagues at a Warwickshire prison. Oh look, the thing we were told would never start happening started happening to a police officer, no less. And grossly offensive. That is exactly what they said about Marcus. No words. Amber Heard speaks out. It's only around 20 seconds. Let's listen.
In the closing arguments, the deaf lawyer called your testimony the performance of a lifetime and said you were acting. What do you say to that?
Says the lawyer for the man who convinced the world he had scissors for fingers.
What? So, right, I agree that I think the way Amber acted in the court, and be honest, I haven't seen much. I've mainly just seen the memes, like my dog stepped on a bee, but it does all look like an act, because you are an actor. You have been in the DCEU, in Aquaman and Justice League, and you might be in Aquaman 2. They're considering cutting you out completely, but we don't know if it's gonna happen or not. So, Johnny wasn't trying to convince people that he actually had scissors for hands. Most people in the audience knew that it's fiction. So by your logic, you are trying to convince people that you're a mermaid, or whatever mirror it is. So your argument is just dumb. Does you think that everyone thinks she actually lived in Atlantis because they saw it in a movie? What's next? Does you think people are going to watch American Beauty and think Kevin Spacey for new allegations just dropped? I've never seen American Beauty, but I did have a feeling that he was attracted to a minor in that film because I've seen a couple of videos about it. But maybe that film is what made him attracted to minors, unless all this happened before he done American Beauty. Sorry, that's just... Oh no, come on. It's a TikTok. I'm gonna put the full thing on.
Important is bodily autonomy, the same right men have always had. We just want equal rights. The right to govern our own bodies, just like men have always had. It's that simple.
Do you support the right for people to not get the COVID vaccine?
Well, I mean, what rights do men have that women don't? In 2022 in America, because I can't think of a single right that men have that women don't in the current day in America. Now, obviously, in places like, you know, Taliban-controlled areas, because radical Muslims just don't want women to have rights. Notice the fact that I said radical Muslims, not all Muslims. But we're talking exclusively the West, particularly America here. Anyway.
It's irrelevant.
It's the same topic, right? My body, my choice.
You're right. It's not irrelevant.
It is relevant.
One saves lives.
You're right. It's not irrelevant.
Oh, it saves lives, really? I don't know when this was filmed, but, I mean, considering the fact that the people that make the vaccine literally admit it, that the vaccine does nothing. But sure, go on. Be a hypocrite.
One of them is going to be in a pandemic state, right? A state of emergency, which we all know laws change during a state of emergency.
Do you agree with the statement or the principle of my body, my choice?
Yes, absolutely. Bodily autonomy is a human right. Healthcare is a human right.
You're probably an atheist. Who gave you that right? Because as a Christian, I would say that they are my God-given rights. But I'm gonna say with 100% certainty that you're an atheist, or not a Satanist, but someone who really hates Christians. So who gave you that right? And don't say the government, because the government can take it away. But with God-given rights, no one can take it away. Convert my child.
Access to healthcare should not be something that is dictated by the Supreme Court.
During the pandemic, did you support people's right to not get the COVID vaccine?
You didn't immediately answer and you had a sigh there, which means you had to carefully consider it. If you do not believe that we can choose whether to get the vaccine or not, then you are not for my body, my choice. Yes, getting the vaccine and getting an abortion are different things, but they still have an effect on your body. If you believe in my body, my choice, that should apply to both abortion and the vaccine. And this may seem hypocritical because I'm against abortion, but for having the choice to get the vaccine or not. And I did have an argument, but while I was talking, I lost it. Anyway.
It's a difficult conversation.
Do you support bodily autonomy in other situations? For example, the COVID vaccine mandates.
The vaccine mandates, we've been mandated to get vaccines for years and years and years.
So you do support it?
We haven't really, and even if we did... In fact, no, I'm not going to say that, just I haven't. Like, people always say that the vaccine is required, or face masks are the law. They're not. They never were. Ever.
That situation, people not having control of their bodies.
That's not having not control of your bodies. Like, I don't understand.
Do you think it is important for people to have medical and health control of their own body?
Yeah, it's good for them. It's good for everybody.
You didn't support the mandates?
I do support the mandates, yeah.
Isn't that mandate that people have to get the vaccine so they don't have control over their own body?
Vaccinations are good for people.
But in that case, you don't have control, right? If there's a mandate?
No, they don't have to get it. They just
can't go anywhere or do anything, right?
I might be wrong, but that kind of sounds like you're saying that abortions are not good for people. How dare you say that? You're just wanting to control women, you misogynist. How dare you? I'm kidding. Okay? I don't believe that, but your side will. I guarantee it.
Can't have a job. You don't have a right to a job.
Everybody should have a right to do what they want with their bodies.
Do you support the people's right to choose not to get the COVID vaccine?
I'm not doing that.
Right, so, anyway, I get into arguments. The rights for me, but not for thee thing. It's pretty much written in stone at this point. It's so established that I even knew what they were all going to say before the answer. So that, except that's not what's happening here. This isn't really hypocritical at all. Except it is. Because it is dumbass. Except it's not requiring a vaccine for infectious diseases is needed in order to keep everyone's job. It's necessary for public well-being. Banning abortion does nothing for public health. It does for the health of the child, but that... I'm just going to ignore that. I'm not going to dispute what he said because it's just going to be, live free or die over and over again. You would love it over in China? Oh, you support vaccines? Guess you're a fascist then. No, it's because you support mandates for vaccines. I support vaccines. I support all the vaccines except for Corona. I do not support mandated vaccines for anything. It shouldn't be mandated. If you mandate it, you are a fascist. We're not talking about vaccines, we're talking about mandated vaccines. One of the forced people to undergo a medical procedure via state violence and coercion is actually pretty fash. Who's saying anything about state violence or coercion? All of us. We are all talking about mandates, and you know that. Literally you, since this argument is about vaccine mandates, where I'm not referring to the state using violence to force every person to get a vaccine, I'm referring to mandating vaccines for things like employment. That's fascist! So get the vaccine or you can't feed your family who will also be homeless isn't government coercion. I've had this argument when the guy that voices 2D and Gorillas was talking about how he doesn't like the fact that people are wearing that I think they weren't requiring his daughter to wear face masks in school. And people are like, he's gonna kill his daughter. Quick, we need to fire him from Gorillas and make him lose all his money. And then he can't feed his daughter, and then his daughter will starve to death. But thank God, I do not think he has been fired. Although I don't know because I haven't read up about it. Yeah, it is only saying that employers don't have the right to make sure that their company workspaces are healthy environments for their employees. Wait, do you actually think that isn't coercion? No, companies have been requiring vaccines for a very long time. This isn't companies of their own free will, though. This is government mandate being enforced on companies. If they don't obey it, they'll be fined, arrested, and shut down, also known as state violence. Yeah, you're right, I wasn't looking too far ahead of me on this. I'll admit I was wrong anyways. Nothing against you, Mark. You're a really funny guy, but I just got to mute this tweet because I don't feel like getting all these notifications and such. Have a good day. That's very unusual behavior for Twitter, but completely respect you for it. Very based. Thank you for not being a prick. My voice is now gone. Great. Although we're not done. Wearing a vaccine for infectious diseases in order to keep one's job and necessary for public well-being. Ban abortion does nothing for public health. So you're not actually in favour of bodily autonomy then. You feel the government should be able to dictate what you can do with your own body when it dreams up a reason good enough, regardless of evidence for it was a good reason. Remember, regardless of the evidence, most people do not even need the vaccine. In fact, let's do a little exercise here to vote this argument. If some being banned or forced could be considered in the interest of public health, would you be okay with the government then banning forcing it? People might make the argument that I need the vaccine because I am unvaccinated and I had corona there for about a week. I had it since Tuesday. And, you know what, I'm acting like this. Very violent coughing fits, but I had that before I got corona. So, no, I don't need the vaccine. Especially since it's useless. It depends on the context of the situation. Not really, since you don't get to make that decision, the government does. What about mandatory daily exercise? You've taken away a person's choice, but the health benefits would be astronomical and safe health services. Literally hundreds of millions. Would you support that? Of course I don't get to make that decision. I'm not going to agree with every decision. Obviously, for instance, the daily exercise sample you mentioned, I wouldn't support such a mandate as a person not exercising doesn't affect the people around them. Actually, it can, since their unhealthy lifestyles cost you extreme health services, which then drives up taxes in order to pay for all this extra healthcare as well. and vastly increasing waiting lists for people seeking healthcare. So there's your good reason that the government decided this will be a thing now. Now what? Jesus, even Scottish TV is starting to take a turn against Sturgeon. The fairy comment at the end, I'm not looking at that. Like, Nicola Sturgeon, everyone has Nicola Sturgeon. Okay. Like, good. Anyone who doesn't hate Nicola Sturgeon, why? Like, give us our reasons. Like, if you're on, like, if you don't know who she is, that's fine. If you're on the fence, then, if you know who she is, then you're on the fence about everything that she's saying. Why? And if you support her, why? Anyway, you're comparing a public health measure aimed at stemming condition the reproductive rights miles apart. Show you're working out including morality and the greater good weight against self as an individual. So you only have control over what happens to your body when the government says so. You don't actually know how rights work, do you? I do. They only work because the people put a government in place that grants them. Let that sing in who the governments are. You think rights come from the government? Where else do cats or dogs have these magical rights of grey woo floating in the aether? God. They come from God. Rights come from man's own logic and moral reasoning. Dogs and cats can't do that. Governments were established all these rights, which turned out to be a complete mistake when they completely stopped doing that. About 200 years ago, you are born with rights. Okay, so these rights are imaginary from the mind of man. Good, because of that, the only way these imagined rights can be granted is through a system of government law appointed by the people. To the imagined rights apply, you're born with the rights because the law says so. I mean, if you do bring God into it, then that is punishment. It's just happening on a different plane. Because if you do bad, you go to hell. That's punishment. And the reason why we have punishment here, a la jail, is because we don't know if heaven and hell is real. And jail is a much more immediate consequence. By your own logic, governments are imaginary as well as laws. They're simply dream of concept, like you're saying rights are. That's right, Mark. Governments and laws also come from the mind of man. Now you think about it, think of ramifications. So in other words, you use completely screw your own argument. I'm going to see what this is. I'm not going to watch the video though, unless it's very short. Okay. Don't know what that is. Probably a song thing. Yeah, that's a song thing. Don't know what the song is. Never heard of the song. Never heard of the band. So not at all, and I can't really imagine how you think so, but you fail to entirely grasp my argument. Perhaps you'll explain where you're going wrong. It's amazing. Your argument was literally rights are just a dream of concept. The solution to this problem is the thing I swear, which is also a dream of concept. Extremely entertaining. How you can't even grasp it. You did my work for me. No. Okay. Has to show the link between democratically appointed reproductive health rights and democratically appointed public health policy. I mean, that's stopping contagion inside. You said rights don't come from the government. Should you such boy was imaginary. Democratically appointed rights. Oh, I don't know why, but that photo reminded me about the fact that Julian Assange is not going to go to jail. The fact that we've had Obama, Trump, and Biden not doing anything about Julian, like allowing him to return to America because what he did was great. It is just disgusting. Like, he needs to be pardoned, as is Edward Snowden, and like that's just one of the. It's one of the things that Trump didn't do that I don't like the fact that he didn't do it, because if anyone would have done it, I think it would have been him, because there's no way that Biden would have done it. Because Biden would have just heard, this person is bad, okay, this person is bad, okay then. I've been told he's bad, therefore he's bad. Okay, maybe you're right about this, and it's hypocritical to want people to take the vaccine, but they shouldn't be forced to at gunpoint or anything like that. It's extremely respectable, thank you. Right, see you, Harrison. Be more like Kira. People make crap democracy that Emerson is in charge of internally, and those craven idiots enslave nobody else. Don't blame my government. Whose clients put in there, along with whatever rights it might or might not grant, has been not the fault of the idea. Governments just sound pretty crap, my guy. Let me look at the more replies. Because we're just the only way we get beyond tribalism once we trapped ourselves in agriculture. There isn't another way forward but city-state civilization, reading, light, writing, number, and the law. Government is the only basis for that crap and for actual, rather than imaginary rights. Nation states, by their very definition, tribalism. Oh, another person. Please don't be an argument. Where did I when I say I do that wasn't for you? I could have worded that better. Sorry. Understandable. Have a nice day. Thank you for not causing an argument. Off to the garden centre again. Keep it Lambos and mansions. Dad needs compost and gravel. Are you suggesting all pro-choice are also pro-virus vaccines? Not all, but most. Barbara Girl interlinked and a Barbara World interlinked. Life and plastic. Plastic is fantastic. Interlinked. Okay. Also, I thought Ryan Gosling retired. Anyway, fanboy is a slur. I slur you, fanboy. Everyone always talks about slurs, but no one asked me, an expert. More like inventor. Created 87 new slurs this morning. Can't stop and stop. Hell yeah, brother. No, don't share, don't share. I had a feeling I was going to bring up someone's phone number, but it didn't. I know I brought up my mate, but... Everyone basically knows his Twitter account anyway. No offense, mate. Oh, God, I'm not reading all this. I did, they rejected it. This you, the world right now, me still tending my silly little garden to stay sane. Yes, look at my strawberries. I mean, Marcus is doing the right thing, because another thing was that, like, a couple schools in Wales are trying this science experiment where they, instead of serving real food, they serve bugs, because they've been saying for a couple of years now that we're eventually going to run out of food, and we'll need to start eating bugs. But they did say that about 40 or 50 years ago, and it just didn't happen. Because eventually they'll just stop selling food by government mandate and just that force you to buy bugs and eat bugs instead. So Marcus is growing actual food. Good boy, Marcus. Some kind of mom's drawn us while we're in the money or anything, just fun, thank you. This might say a story I did it. A girl I dated told me quack guy in her college class approached her one day out of the blue and said he just drew her. She found it really weird that this guy was looking at her across the room and drawn at her when they had never interacted before. But she was curious and asked to see it, and she was shocked by how good it was. It was actually an amazing drawing. She really liked it and asked if she could keep it. He looks her in the eye and says no, then puts it in his pocket and walked out. They never interacted again. I only date men with micro penises and a minimum of 20 Funko Pops. I mean, I'm close enough. My queen. How many Funko Pops do I have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and 2 Q-Figs. Brainwashed people don't think they're brainwashed. Incidentally, we are all brainwashed to some extent. I'm not suggesting the question everything, just, sometimes it helps to examine where your beliefs and values come from. Things are way more grey than many people are willing to think. Things are rarely black and white. It's good to be open to learning more. Find yourself being hostile to someone for an incredibly basic reason like their race, gender, political affiliation, sports team employees, crypto employees, etc. That's a good sign you're allowing yourself to be brainwashed in the head route. But what if they're French? But what if they're the Chinese government? Because I wouldn't have caught corona if I worked for the Chinese government. Marcus, would you ever consider doing a charity nude calendar shit? Charity is me and the calendar is my DMs. Sorry, I don't associate with the poor. Brazilian stripper interrupts Peruvian president. Yes, it was actually this Brazilian stripper who hacked in, or whatever. No, Ricardo is a meme. I haven't heard from Ricardo. Oh, it's been a while since the Ricardo memes. No, I won't wear cat ears just because you think cat girls are cute. I'm going to send that to Jack, because that would really grind his gears. So for my live roast happening on July 13th, promoters for the internet should be involved, so the best roast post or roast night will be right out of the show. And the promoters thought this was a super idea. The Mujahideen once tried to exterminate all of the emos in Iraq. Yes, really. I feel like that is like the equivalent of the quiet kid versus the emo kid meme, where it was the quiet kid trying to shoot the emo kid, but then the emo kid like Matrix dodges it, grabs his gun and shoots himself. Okay, now this is sort of clickbait. I can get on board if it's not in clickbait. They literally tried to kill them all. Some were shot, some were thrown off roofs, some were stoned to death. There's probably going to be clown music in this. I'll get copyrighted for. Nope, that's worse. Okay, yeah, so I forgot about that. YouTube tweeted out, what's a dog on YouTube to change your life? And basically everyone commented Marcus's dog. Wife wanted to try boba tea, doesn't seem impressed.
Floaters. Go on, have a try then.
This is good.
Now, for the people on TikTok who are like, oh my god, she was able to burst that. Normally when I do it, it spills over. Because she did it with two hands. Put the phone down and just open it like a normal person. You don't have to record yourself doing it. I get that most of those videos are memes. But it's got to start off with someone being a retard somewhere, right?
Is it nice?
You really do pop in your mouth.
Is it nice? No?
It is quite nice, but it's very odd. And you're left with this like wee mad skin in your mouth.
Oh no, that sounds boggy.
From the balls.
Nah, fuck that.
But like, you're drinking it and you're going, soft and it's like,
you had what in your mouth? Float.
They find the most random model I've ever seen. Hi, Father's Day, I know I don't pay child support, but where's my presents? Only they weren't the exact thing they accuse you of. I'm not looking at that. Hey, United, why are you breaking the law? Masks are required in all flights out of Canada. Your flight attendant isn't wearing one. Right, I get this got me hypocritical, but you absolute tout. Like, seriously, what the hell is wrong with you? Jesus. Okay, Randall. No, I would have said that guy from Family Guy, and I get that, like, this is different, but it just reminds me of that guy from Family Guy who's like, hey, you're a phony. Like, even if you don't watch Family Guy, you know what I'm talking about.